To make a film that was about loss, but also about judgment, and how in a world of increasing grey area we are getting more and more entrenched in black and white positions. And there was this homeless couple that I was, that I've been sort of fascinated with, who lived outside my apartment building, and when Hurricane Sandy happened, in the sort of mayhem of trying to we live right on the river in New York City, and in the mayhem of trying to get my wife and kids and a cat and a dog in the car and get to higher ground, I totally forgot about them, and I never saw them again, and I wondered what their lives were, and I just started I found myself sort of imagining those lives, and I thought that would be a really good way to tell a story about judgment, because the way I think I didn't want to make a film that is about homelessness being bad or addiction being bad, because of course it is, and we know that. I wanted to make a film about how we judge homeless people when we look at them, and I think it's an interesting response that we have, because it's an almost aggressive response, that somehow they must have done something to bring themselves here, and because if you didn't feel that way, you'd do something about it.
The script is I thought the script was beautiful. I think that the story is incredibly moving. I thought it was really well constructed, really well conceived, very interesting subject matter, and the character. It was a beautiful part. I think both parts. It's really a two-hander. It's me and Anthony Mackie plays to hear. Both parts I thought were just written beautifully.
No, I started writing the role of Hannah with nobody in mind, and suddenly I sort of discovered that I was writing it with my wife in my head. It's also inspired by a woman that I know who had her husband tragically died in 9/11, and she sort of fell very slowly into an addiction, and so slowly I started realizing, I'm actually writing this for my wife. I
felt that Paul, I loved working with Paul, not only because he was my husband, but I think he did a great job, and I think that he had a very strong vision for what he wanted to do. He made some very bold choices. I thought were very brave and interesting choices. But at the same time, he really he gave his actors a lot of room to, help tell the story together with him. To explore and make, to take risks making choices. So that's, it's fulfilling having that kind of freedom.
Yeah, we did. We shot it in, I think, 22 days in New York City, and 6-day weeks, and it was, our easiest day was 24 setups, and we were a single camera shoot, and it was fast. If Anthony and Jennifer got 3 takes, I was being wildly generous.
It was very fast-paced. We had to move really quickly, but it was really a privilege. I was so happy. I think it was such an accomplishment that Paul wrote the script, and he produced it, and he was directing it, and he was doing such an amazing job. And I felt like it was such a privilege to be part of it, and it was very fulfilling. The material I found very fulfilling. I was very happy working on it. So, was it a hard shoot? I was thrilled to be there,
Not just necessity being the mother of invention, I think desperation being the mother of invention. So there was a lot of thinking on my feet, and there was a lot of staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning with a 6:30 pickup, trying to figure out how I was going to shoot the next day. And it was really exhausting but exhilarating, and what I thought was true turned out to be true, which is, if you have a really meager budget but you have abundant talent in your cast, people are going to think you know what you're doing as a director.